As a huge fan of open world games, I love it when a game has a huge map with tons of depth and life. There's just something about having a large sandbox map at my disposal that makes it so great. However, this isn't always the case. In a lot of open world games, sure, they have an open world that is absolutely fucking massive, but there's just a lot of dead land that doesn't really add any more content. It just adds area to the map, and this is incredibly unneeded. This raises the question, is a bigger map better? Of course, having a large map does have its benefits. You're able to explore a huge world that fills you with a sense of wonder upon being released into the game world. A large map increases immersion in open world games because you rarely ever see the same area too many times in a row if you're running around doing the open world quests. A big map opens the possibility of filling it with content if the developers are ambitious enough, because ultimately, if the map is bigger, then there is more space for environments in which NPCs reside that will be able to give you quests and errands for them to carry out in the open world. It really is all down to the developer. If the map is huge, they can either decide to fill it with content and have quests all over the place, or they can make it look like there's lots to do in the trailers and demos of the game, when in reality, once you get dropped into the open world, it's a large area with absolutely nothing to do but wander around regretting spending £50 on a game that is absolute shit. Developers seem to go for the latter when developing an open world of significant scope. They begin to build a huge open world with lots of ambition, and they promise fans an open world bigger than any before and with more depth than in any game you've ever seen. But as the development cycle continues, they realise they are without a doubt absolutely fucked because they've created a game that is a glorified walking simulator. Anyway, a large open world opens up possibilities like many different explorable areas, player immersion, and a lot of content. However, when making a huge open world, developers usually don't deliver on that last one. As we've already briefly touched upon, having a huge map certainly has its drawbacks. Developers can spend an awful lot of time working on the map of the game and not actually the content inside of the playable area. This leads to a severe content drought and leaves the game dead with absolutely nothing to do in the open world besides run around killing enemies in the end game. There really is something bleak about a hollow open world that has so much potential, but where it succeeded in scope, it failed to deliver in content. Having a large map can also put some people off, which is the reason why RPGs have a very specific audience of people, because the mainstream audience that play linear games are intimidated by the scale of the game and the amount of different things you can do in them. Some people just prefer a simpler game that doesn't require full dedication to play, so they tend to stay away from the open world games that have large maps. This can in turn affect sales negatively because there are lots of people that just don't want to have to commit such a large amount of their time to a game. Not only this, but nowadays games that claim to have a huge open world map are ignored by many people due to the failures of the past and how developers lie to fans about their game, thus giving open world games a damaged name. There aren't many games that get a balance between the scale of a map and the content that is included inside of the playable area. A few games that did a good job of this were Horizon Zero Dawn, Skyrim, and Assassin's Creed 4. These games all have decent sized maps that have enough content to keep you satisfied as you traverse the seemingly large open world. Horizon Zero Dawn was very good at this. In fact, Guerrilla refused to release the size of the map because they didn't want players to know the size of the world they were jumping into. This actually worked very well for Guerrilla because the map feels huge without actually having to be that big at all. Skyrim also has a relatively small map size, but the use of huge mountains around the map make everything seem bigger than they actually are. Skyrim has a great balance between the content and the scale, and I feel as if it's a prime example of open world games. As for Assassin's Creed 4, the majority of the open world is sea, which means that the map doesn't actually seem that large at all because your ship is very fast, despite actually being huge. The areas of the map that actually land are of decent size, and there is lots for the player to explore and uncover, such as various secret areas and hidden plans to upgrade your ship to its full potential. The Caribbean environments of Black Flag really are beautiful, and I absolutely love exploring them. These are all games that manage to balance scale and content. They have maps that weren't actually that big, but they managed to achieve a feeling that made the map feel huge. This is something that is very difficult to do. There is only one game that seems to get content and map size perfect, and that game is The Witcher 3. I mean, you probably guessed by now, this is a video about open world games, how could I not mention The Witcher 3? This game had 3 huge open world areas if you include the DLC, and not only were they massive, but they were also filled with quests, Witcher contracts, monster dens, dungeons, bandit camps, and so much more. It really is the epitome of open world games because it just did everything exactly the way it should be. I've never been more satisfied with a game than when I finished Blood and Wine and my adventure on that game came to an end. After hundreds of hours of questing, getting armor, leveling up and meeting new characters, I finally finished almost everything the game had to offer, and it was the best feeling ever. So to summarize, I believe that a bigger map most definitely does not mean better. In most cases, it's better to have a smaller map that has lots to do in it opposed to a massive sandbox that is barren. Fair enough, you can have impressive, immersive open worlds, but it can be a little more than that, unless time is put into not only the scale of the game, but the content too. The only game that got it right was The Witcher 3. It had a perfect mixture of a vast open world and a plethora of content that the game was satisfying when I completed it. Hopefully in the future, developers can rectify their mistakes and get a perfect balance of content and scale. Anyway, that's the end of the video, guys. It's a little bit short, but I wanted to do a little discussion video because I did say on Twitter that I was going to do a video like this a few weeks ago, and I actually didn't end up doing it. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Be sure to go ahead and like and subscribe for more content in the future, and also remember to comment down in the comment section below telling me what you think about the scale of open world in comparison to content. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one.